Hi, I'm Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. I'm also the podcast host of Invest in Her and an award-winning producer, author, and TEDx speaker. Our show, Invest in Her, features phenomenal female founders and funders. As you know, women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. Our series is about accelerating the funding of women by connecting them to funding resources. Let's meet today's guest. Welcome to this week's edition of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors. And today we're going to be talking with Kelley Arena. She is the founder of Golden Hour Ventures. We're going to be talking about VC and how you can get involved in angel investing. Welcome to the show, Kelley.
Thanks so much for having me.
So happy to have you in from New York.
I know. I had an excuse to come to Los Angeles.
Yes. And we had the great distinction of being able to be at the celebration of our wrap party for Show Her the Money yesterday, which was so fun, right?
That was really, really special.
It's
not
special.
Often I get to be in a room where everyone there actually cares about the disparity in VC. That never happens. It's usually me, the lone wolf, talking to whoever will listen. But that was pretty special.
You and I connected instantly because we went to a all-female investors luncheon, which was really cool. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see there's more and more investor luncheons for women, dinners, gatherings, it's great. And we immediately connected about how upset we are about, women getting less than 2% of venture capital. And I know you were excited that I'm producing a movie to actually shed some light on that, to talk about that, because it's something that you're so passionate about.
So passionate about, and definitely don't have the media chops. So when you said you were talking about bringing this to film, it was really exciting.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we do need to get it out there, right? And educate more women on stepping into this world. And I know, I love your tagline that you started Golden Hour Ventures because you wanted to help women get rich.
Yeah.
And I was like, you go, girl.
Yeah. I think sugarcoating it just doesn't do us any good.
Right, right. No, I love that.
We live in a capitalistic society where the money goes, the power flows.
That's it. That's it.
We need more women making money.
Yes.
Involved in policy making decisions and also building companies that are female friendly.
Yes. And we need more women like you out there building entities that we can join and invest in.
Right.
So Golden Hour Ventures, I know your background is in finance and also you work with Johnson & Johnson. What made you step into this arena? No pun intended on your last name.
Yeah, give me all the puns. I love the puns. Yeah, I stumbled into it, to be really honest. I started my career, I was at a professional football franchise.
I know, the Eagles, right?
Eagles, yes.
Love that.
Third year for us.
And what were you doing for them?
I worked in finance there, too. I like to tell my kids I was a, lineman coach. I was defensive coordinator. But no, I worked in finance. I started as an intern co-op there and, was there for a bit after college. Super fun. You can imagine not a lot of advancement for females in that organization, but It was really fun while it lasted. Moved to corporate finance and did a financial leadership development program within Johnson & Johnson, which was super cool, but, not exactly for me working at a huge corporation like that. Did some investment banking at Merrill Lynch, which was, intense. That environment is pretty intense. And then, when it was time for me to start a family, it's so cliche, but just didn't feel like I was in an environment that was supportive of any kind of work-life balance. And there wasn't a lot of female mentors that I could look to and want to emulate that life.
Yeah.
So I took a lot of time off and, had children and devoted myself to that. I had a child with special needs, another child born 3 months premature. And in the meantime, I felt a little pissed that I didn't have a career that had any kind of balance in it, that I knew I would be supported if I needed to spend some time with my children or if I had a family crisis. It just wasn't conducive to that. And so it got me thinking a lot about what is the societal solve for that?
Right.
And the only thing I could think of is having companies that were built by women who kind of had a touch point.
Right.
But I didn't know what to do with that information. So, as I'm trying to figure it out, I was just doing some light consulting for startups. I like working with creatives and being the financial mind to complement their side of the business.
Right, because so many people that have startup ideas are super creative, but they're not necessarily numbers people.
100%.
So they need people like you. Yeah, that's great that you help startups with that capacity.
Absolutely. That's my favorite thing to do is work with someone that's mind who's very
I think I actually know
different.
a founder that actually needs that from you.
Love
I'm going
that.
to connect you.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
let me bring me your big ideas and let's put it onto paper and actually make some financial sense out of it. But through that, just saw very organically how easy it was for male founders to get funding vis-a-vis the female founders that I was working with. And this was completely agnostic of experience, of education, whether one was post-revenue or pre-revenue or had product market fit.
Right.
It really just seemed to be divided by gender and network.
Yeah.
And what I noticed was that, men in a room tend to share their deal flow or talk about finance. What are you investing in? What are you not investing in?
Right.
And
people do tend to invest in people they identify with. As I said in my TED Talk, which is called Fund Women Save the World, that's why we need more female investors at the decision-making table.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
yeah.
that is exactly the premise that has guided me, which is we need more women investing because inherent bias exists.
Yes.
We're humans and they do. So if we have representation on the investor side, then we will fund more founders that tend to be more diverse.
Yeah. And it would probably be true as women, if we knew another woman that needed investment, that we would be like, oh, well, let's give investment to this woman that we know and think the world of. And so I guess that's what's just happened in that old boys club. They give the money to to Joe and Charlie and not Sally because they're in their network, and that's the way it works. So we have to build our own network, right?
Absolutely. And it makes sense too. I don't spend a ton of time beating up the male VCs because there's so much happening in the menopause space right now, the hormonal space, all of these industries that are really exciting and been ignored for a long time. Of course the men aren't going to resonate with this. It's a problem that doesn't resonate with them. Right. Yeah. So, but when you talk to female investors about, we have tech that can help identify what's going on with your hormones, either, pre-pregnancy or throughout the life cycle of your different stages of life, women get really excited.
Right.
Like, we need these women to be capitalized and, invest in these ideas.
Absolutely. And so, what made you make that leap and how did you start Golden Hour Ventures?
Yeah, well, I started just with an angel syndicate thinking, well, I better put my own money where my mouth is. And at that time, I had made maybe 2 angel investments, one in a male-founded company and one in a female-founded company, and was just kind of starting to get my feet wet. I didn't come from VC and was
and
really
most people don't.
Sure, right, exactly. And just like so many of the people I meet today thought, well, I shouldn't be an investor if I don't come from VC, if I don't speak this language. And as someone said at your event, I think that we so rarely believe in ourselves and we need all the justifications to be like, oh, I'm actually prepared enough to write this check. But what I realized is you just learn by doing it. So I just started writing checks.
Yes.
I joined a syndicate, Pipeline Angels, which is incredible and very mission oriented and supports a lot of Black founders and kind of serves as their friends and family. And I did a lot of diligence, met a lot of amazing other angels, and I just kind of caught the bug and was like, oh, I think I need to stay here. This feels like my skill set that I had developed, but with a mission and a soul and a purpose that certainly didn't exist on the trading floor at Merrill Lynch.
Right. Totally different experience.
Yeah. This really felt like a movement to me.
But not only did you start investing in that capacity, but you decided to start your own venture.
Then I started evangelizing. That's what happened next, which is what I tend to do. So I caught the bug. And then I started telling all my friends, I have this amazing founder and you need to meet her and you need to meet her. And I just started to kind of build this network and build this network and build this network. And
then you thought you better name it.
Right? Well, else what are we doing? Like, you don't exist unless you have an LLC. Right? So started consulting for founders, started building a network of founders, started building a network of investors. And then it just made sense that I started to connect the dots. So through
And
that.
how did you learn about, running that, fund? Would you consider it a fund?
I wouldn't, and I would. So
Yeah.
it isn't a traditional venture fund.
Right.
I basically make mini funds.
Right.
Per
for
investment.
each
Exactly.
for each founder investment.
Exactly
Got it.
right. So
So you might have a group come in on an investment in a particular company and set up an LLC for that.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're called SPVs, special
Right.
purpose
Special people.
vehicles.
Yep.
And, I diligence a company quite hard. I'm proud of my diligence process as a one-man show, a
Yeah.
one-woman show. And if I believe in the founder, if I believe in the company and the idea and the financials and the exit possibilities, then I basically become the investor relations
Right.
for angel investors. And the magic of this, it feels really, really important to me personally that I am democratizing access to this class of investments, meaning
Right.
the private markets. And I
Right.
think angel investing can be really intimidating if you think you have to be writing $50,000 checks and $100,000 checks.
Right. So you put them together in an LLC or special purpose vehicle. Maybe at what level?
Yeah, we're writing checks anywhere from 50,000 for a pre-seed all the way up to $1 million.
And then the investors can put in any amount or
So basically the SPV is generally $10,000 checks up to $50,000 checks.
right.
Sometimes up to $100,000. Depends on the stage of the company. If it's a later stage company and, you're going to be writing a $100,000 check direct to cap. And I would advise that if an investor has that liquidity and they're able to, always invest direct to cap. The beauty of the SPV is that if you're not ready to do that, then you can start writing $10,000 checks or $5,000 checks today.
Right.
And it's a gateway drug.
Yeah.
So you're learning by doing.
Right.
You're impactful, and also you're joining a community of investors. So all of our SPVs are groups of 20 to 50 people,
Right.
and they also serve as like brand ambassadors to this company. So the founder we have investor meetings once or twice a year. The founder comes and says, these are my asks. I need great counsel for this particular event, or I'm looking for someone that can help me distribute in Ireland, and all of the weird asks that come up as a
Right.
founder. It's amazing what happens when you take it to our little communities of SPVs.
Right.
And someone's like, oh, wait, my cousin, or I know this person, or let me send an
Of
email.
course.
And emails start flying in the room. And then the community brings their asks too. I'm looking for a board seat here, or I'm working on this project and like looking for funding about this, or I just moved to the city and I need an OBGYN.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and everyone
Right.
leaves and they've gotten real ROI.
Right.
That's bigger than the financial investment.
I love that. I love it. So you kind of built a community of people that are helping each other, helping the founders, helping, just build a profitable type of scenario for everybody.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
really community focused, which I think is something women do really well.
Yes.
And we really leverage the power of that community to help the founder and to leverage the community in and of itself
Yeah.
to help each other. There's lots of founders that are investing in other founders, attorneys that have their own services to bring to the table. And so our community tends to be a really hands-on group of investors.
Do you have any investments that you'd like to point out that you think were one of your better picks that, was profitable?
Yeah, well, it's so interesting because this Golden Hour Ventures is 2 years old. So, and I invest early stage. So
Right,
some of
right.
it remains to be seen, which is
Right.
tricky. That investment horizon when you're investing seed, pre-seed is 5 to 7 years till you see a liquidity
Right.
event. But I'm proud to say
they're
that
doing well
many of my
and-
companies have gone on to do
Yeah.
follow-ons that are later rounds that are at a higher valuation. I've invested like right before PE funds have come in and, gobbled up share. And so like it always,
It's
boosts my
exciting.
morale when
Yes.
you see like these huge
Yeah.
funds coming in after.
And when people hear, I could put in as little as $10,000 to get started.
Mm-hmm.
It might take 5 to 7 years. Sometimes you never know. Sometimes there's an exit in 2 or 3 years, but let's say it's 5 to 7. But, it's no different than any other investment, whether it's a stock or even real estate. For the most part, you invest in real estate.
I would say liquidity
Yeah.
is the main differentiator. And that's
Yeah.
important to me to educate our
Right.
angels, is that it's not a liquid investment.
Right.
And
But neither is real estate, really.
That's fair.
If you can't sell the place at the time that you need the cash.
That's fair.
And what I was starting to say is that, it could take 5 or 10 years for even your house to appreciate
Sure.
significantly. So it's no different. Like sometimes I think people think, 5 to 7, because everybody wants to make a quick buck. But, 5 to 7 is pretty normal for most investments. So
To see return, absolutely. And I think it's so much bigger than that. And it's why I'm compelled to do what I do.
Yes,
is that
it's impact investing.
This is impact.
Yes.
Truly, truly. And if we want to see our nieces and our daughters come up in a completely different environment, particularly,
Absolutely.
to me, this is future of work in its purest sense.
Yes.
What is the work environment going to look like for them? And do we want them working? There's so few CEOs in Fortune 500 companies that are women. Like, we have to start building these companies today. This is long game.
Is that a big focus of yours, future of work? Yeah.
In my way.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yes.
not in the industry way of
Right.
future of work, but in
Yeah.
the way that investing in women is investing in the future of work. We're going to shape the
Yes.
way society is
Yes,
built and
I
the way
agree.
work, life, culture, policy is built.
Right. And the more women you invest in that are building companies that are also hiring women and diversity on their teams, that is, of course, impacting. I was going to ask you, what would be the next step to get involved with you? Like, where would they find you?
Yeah, I would say my website is the best place to start. I have some educational materials on there. I love to do Angel 101s, by the way. So, anyone who is intimidated by angel investing, it's my favorite when I say an angel gets her wings.
Yeah.
And whether that first check is $5,000 to $10,000, I love educating through that process, taking off the jargon. I think sometimes these industries are intentionally shrouded in
Yes.
jargon to keep them exclusive.
I do too.
So no dumb questions, no silly questions. My website is goldenhourventures.co. You can reach me through my website. I'm on Instagram, although I'm social media deficient for sure. So if anyone wants
But
to help me
LinkedIn,
out.
I take it.
For sure, LinkedIn.
Yes, we're all.
of
I think we're all
course.
kind of becoming bigger and bigger fans of LinkedIn.
Lots of
Yeah.
people find me on LinkedIn, but it's messy in there. I got a lot of decks coming through on LinkedIn, so
Yeah.
it's hard for me to stay on top. But definitely reaching out directly through my website is the most
Yeah.
direct way to my inbox. And
Yeah.
I love that education.
And you want to
component.
hear from founders, and you want to hear from women that want to become investors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do a lot of events of new investors and or people who haven't invested yet. No dumb questions, no silly questions, really safe space to get, more connected with the private market.
I love that. Yeah, the more female investors we have, the more the picture is going to change of who's getting the funding in the venture capital world. And hopefully at some point, instead of us getting 2%, hopefully we'll at least get the 50% that would be the
Representative of our population.
representative. Exactly.
Yes.
And the cool thing is too about fund managers and venture capital firms like yourself is that these women that are starting these are more focused on investing in women, but also BIPOC, LGBTQ. And those are all the underserved communities that haven't been getting funding. So I'm so grateful for women like yourself that are starting these entities that other women can come and learn and be a part of and, help make the world a better place. Let's, use our investments to really make an impact in the world, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And women tend to exit faster and return higher on every dollar invested than men. So I don't
Right.
want to just gloss over the fact that investing in
Right.
women is good business too. It's not
Absolutely.
just impact.
I love that. We're going to end on that note.
Excellent.
So as we wrap up here, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Kelley, thanks for being a great guest today. And hope you'll check out Golden Hour Ventures and look up Kelley, and that's Kelley, Arena, Arena, for those just listening. Find her on LinkedIn. You can also look up me, Catherine Gray, and visit our sheangelinvestors.com or our news site for our movie, which is showherthemoneymovie.com. You can find all of us on social media as well, of course, and Catherine Gray, Invest in Her on Instagram. Okay, well, make it a great week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to invest in other women. Join entities like Golden Hour Ventures so you can learn all about it and join this amazing world of investing, especially investing in women. Remember to invest in her. Make it a great week. Thanks, everybody. Remember, if you're looking to launch a business or grow your business, check out our e-course, 6 Ways to Fund Your Business, available at sheangelinvestors.com.